So what I'm building today is, it's going to be a prop for the movie that I'm about to review, sci-fi. Oh crap. Hang on. Hold on. What is that? Y'all hear that? Crap. Oh my gosh, what is that? What is that? What's that? Hey, this is Wages of Cine's 31 Days of Horror. I'm Stephen Gillum.
I'm Jason Cash.
Jason is my guest today. He is the man who was just in the Slender Man outfit. How do we know each other, Jason?
I've worked with you for many years. We worked together on Confederate Zombie. What was it? The Trail of Blood,
Right.
the prequel to the whole actual movie.
Yeah. You were the main zombie in that one, and you also appeared in several shot scenes in
I've done a
the
couple
movie,
of your shorts, well disguised under heavy makeup.
which
So,
is perfect for playing Slender Man.
absolutely. I always say I do my best acting under heavy prosthetics or where I'm no longer recognizable. It's just a way for me to get away and not be me anymore. I can be a different character completely. So.
Where can people see you now?
Now I perform in Augusta mainly. I do travel, but I'm actually the head performer of my own sideshow group. So I perform out here in Augusta. I perform in Columbia, Savannah, Charlotte, on occasion Atlanta. But basically I'm your native carny.
Cool deal. So, as you know, Slender Man, the movie we're reviewing today,
Always watching.
a Marble Hornet Story.
Yeah.
All right. So, a little bit about Slender Man and where all this started from. Slender Man is a fictional supernatural character that originated in 2009 as an internet meme created by Something Awful forum user by the username Victor Surge. His real name is Eric Knudsen. Slender Man is depicted as a tall, thin man in a black suit and tie with usually a blank face with no features.
Knudsen was inspired to create the Slender Man primarily by Zach Parsons' That Insidious Beast, Stephen King's The Mist, and Mothman sighting stories. Other inspirations for the character were the tall man from the 1979 film Phantasm, H.P. Lovecraft, and the survival horror video games Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Knudsen's intention was to formulate something whose motivations can barely be comprehended.
Stories of Slender Man commonly feature him stalking and traumatizing people, particularly children. He's been in books, art, several videos. Also, he has been in several video games, such as Slender the 8 Pages and Slender the Arrival.
Marble Hornets is a YouTube series inspired by the Slender Man mythos. The series follows Jay, a young man who attempts to find out what happened during the filming of Marble Hornets, a student film project of his friend.
There were 87 entries chronicling the series and 92 episodes. In 2015, a film adaptation, Always Watching, a Marble Hornet Story, was released. In Always Watching, a small town news team discovers a box of videotapes where a faceless figure dressed in a dark suit haunts and torments a family. Soon after, they realize the operator, which is what they call Slender Man, has begun to stalk them as well. So this was directed by James Moran, who is best known for his second unit director and assistant director work. It stars Alexandra Breckenridge as Sarah. You may remember her as the maid in seasons 1 American Horror Story, and she was also Rick's sort of love interest in The Walking Dead. This also stars Chris Marquette as Milo Burns, He was in movies like The Girl Next Door, where he also played a film person. He was in Fanboys, and he was also in Freddy vs. Jason. And it also stars Jake McDorman as Charlie McNeil. He was in Live Free or Die Hard. He's been in some other stuff too.
That's all we could find.
The star of the movie, but you barely ever get to see him, Doug Jones as the operator.
Absolute idol.
He's been in such movies as Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy, Hocus Pocus, and a cajillion other awesome projects. So, when did you first come across Slender Man? Where did you hear about Slender Man at?
I started playing Slender Man, the game, long time ago. I'd see all these people playing the Let's Plays on YouTube, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, it really cannot be this scary at all. So I did like you're supposed to, put your headphones on, turn out all the lights, play the game. Before you know it, you're this far from your computer, and you're collecting notes, and you hear something in your right headpiece, so you pan to the right, and lo and behold, there he is. Your screen goes black. There's this loud screech. I'm not gonna lie. The first couple times I played it, it scared me, and then you figure out the mechanics. And then after playing it a few times, I researched more into the mythos of it, and it's a really cool concept. They don't tell you a whole lot about him. No one has an actual origin for him.
Yeah.
He's just there. He just became. That's it. Lots of beautiful fan art is out there. So there's a lot of interesting takes that all the fans are running with nowadays.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was introduced to Slender Man through the video game, and yeah, it freaked me out. I mean, I'd play it, and it would get me every time. Every time it would go to static and jump, I'd freak out.
Yep.
I was like, this is awesome. And I started looking up some of the fan films. I started looking at some of the stories and stuff. It's like, it's just a cool concept because it's so simple but effective.
I mean, they're playing on the classic horrors. They use jump scares, of course, but they're playing back on the classics of you never actually see it. It's not in your face, and if you do see it, it's a glimpse.
Yeah.
And
usually it's over.
And by the time you see it, it's done. So it's back to the classic horror.
So we have all those cool things. We have the web series, which this is sort of based on the Marble Hornets Story, which I've only seen a few. It's not really my thing, but the people who like it really like it. And I can only imagine it's so much better than the movie we just watched.
That was tough.
As you can see from the DVD art, that looked awesome. Hey, I want to see this movie.
You definitely want to buy it just looking at the DVD art. And for the price of, what, $5 in the bin?
You can easily find this super cheap.
You want to buy it. You're like, that's awesome.
And it was put out by Anchor Bay, and it had some decent cast in there, and so you figure it's going to be a decent production. But unfortunately, it's a found footage, and I found myself barely watching. I think I've seen this 4 times, and I've not seen it complete through all the way. I've seen it in parts here and there, because I can't concentrate on it. It's hard to sit through.
I sat through it my first time tonight, and I don't like found footage films. I don't like handy cam films, and this, unfortunately, was both, and it was tough.
And not a super great story on top of that. It's a lot of driving around, a lot of nothing happening.
You peer out into nothingness a lot. Most of the shots are all nothingness. So, but thankfully we don't have any snotty nose in your face selfie shots.
There you go.
So we're good there.
This was about, let me see exactly. It was 91 minutes. It felt like 3 hours. I thought it was like, is this the director's cut? What are we watching here? Because usually that flies by so fast.
Yeah, 91 minutes is a short film.
It drug on. The one of the saving graces of the film is Doug Jones as Slender. You only see him here and there.
I want to say Slender Man had, I'm going to be gracious when I say this, 3 minutes of screen time in the entire film. I'm going to be gracious and say that. But
that stuff was good. I thought the costume looked good, and what he did with the character when you did see it, I thought was fine.
The cuts were good. The camera cuts there were no unnecessary cuts. They were there for a reason. So I will say that much.
I was also a fan of the the lead actress, was it Alexandra.
Yeah.
She's easy on the eyes, so that does help. But unfortunately, it does not make this always watchable movie.
You find yourself not watching most of the time. Not even gonna lie, I was on my phone a good bit.
I mean, I think it's safe to say there's not a whole lot to go into on this movie. I mean, there's even not a whole lot to spoil because
it's simple point and click.
It's 3 people. They're a news team. They're investigating who the Slender Man is, and things don't go well for him.
No, I mean it follows a basic storyline. They find bad guy finds them, end of story.
There's very few things that kind of tied into the web series. They mention a few things from the characters, and I think if you really want a better story, just watch the web series.
Yeah.
And I hear that they're going to be making proper.
There's talks of a proper one. There's been talks of a proper one for years. But right now, because like what was it, a couple of years ago, 2015 with the 12-year-old girls. Right now, Slender Man is still a very touchy subject.
But it's unfortunate that people take it so serious. Are you familiar with our rating scale?
I am not. This is actually my first time, so.
We, for really crappy movies, we give it a poop scale. If you liked it, it was 5 poops. If you didn't like it, it's 1 poop. That's usually safe for movies that don't really have a high production, usually done on a really low budget. I think this was low budget, but it had some people kind of pushing it. I'm going to rate this harshly on a regular scale.
Okay.
On a regular scale, you rate it 1 to 5, and you usually pick an item out of the movie. Like, say, if you're going to rate Lord of the Rings, you say, I give this 5 rings.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So, if you want to start, or if you want to, I'll start, and you can think about your.
You're going, and we'll let the master take control real quick.
I'm gonna give this. This is gracious. I'm being gracious here, and it's because of Doug Jones as Slender Man. I'm gonna give this two. I think I've done this. DV tapes. I used that on my Blair Witch review. I'm gonna do it again because I've got the graphic. 2 DV tapes because they find the tapes that have.
Do you have a pen on you, Steve?
A pen. I can get a pen.
Go get a pen real quick.
All
I'm
right.
going to use it for my ratings.
Okay.
He'll be right back. That exploded.
Oh. It's a broken pen. Does it work?
I'm going to give this movie 2 Slender Man symbols.
Oh, nice.
Strictly because, like him, Doug Jones was the only saving grace of this movie. The costume, what little you saw of it, was perfect. So,
You actually saw more details than I did. I forgot about the symbols.
How can you forget about this?
Yeah, they find them. Yeah. They're one of the first things they find. But my mind has already started to block things out of this movie and make room for other things.
So, but yeah, I'll give it 2.
I think that's a generous rating.
That's very generous. One mark is for Doug Jones, the other is because she's easy on the eyes.
That's true.
There we go.
For $5, if you can get it, if you can see it for free, I'd recommend that. But
I will say, definitely put it in your collection for a bad movie night where you just want to drink. That movie.
There you go. So let's get into the costume here. We went to a thrift store and bought like a $2 jacket. I think it's like a $1 tie, $1 shirt. This is the most expensive part. This is one of those masks you can get like at a Halloween store. It's just a morph mask.
Morph suit, yeah.
But yeah, you get some pants. We've done a few things here where we've elongated the arms. And we just took some extra fabric and extended down. And there's PVC in there. We use some mannequin hands. We can use some gloves and put some newspaper in there. But just to give that kind of creepy Slender Man extra long arm thing. Jason is on stilts, which not everyone can do, nor do I recommend everybody do.
I don't recommend it, especially at night with something covering your face. It was pretty treacherous.
He's trained for that, so that's why he was the Slender Man. But you don't have to wear
Trained.
You don't have to wear the stilts to make the costume. You can wear it, with regular arms and regular legs, and it's just as creepy. But it's a pretty cheap costume to put together, and you can be Slender Man for Halloween or for fun. don't go pranking people because I think right now,
I
probably-
don't recommend standing on your street corner and staring at people through their windows.
no, we don't recommend that. So, yeah. I think that wraps things up.
I believe so.
So, there you go. Always watching a Marble Hornet story. We'll catch you next time.